After years of starts and stops, real progress is happening on the U.S. Mexico border wall, and it's changing the game. In June 2025, new stretches are going up alongside federal waivers and shifting political priorities. Let's break down what's been built, who's supporting it, and what comes next.
Governor Greg Abbott is thanking the Trump administration for deploying resources at the border. The state says they've completed more than 65 miles of the wall, and construction continues on all active contracts. In a statement, Abbott thanked the Trump administration for its border security efforts and maintaining a presence to arrest, jail, and deport people entering the U.S. illegally. Part of the newly approved state budget also allocated more than $3 billion to border security.
Let's rewind back to the time when Trump announced the border wall way back in 2015. Donald Trump made Build the Wall the centerpiece of his campaign, and whether you loved it or hated it, you definitely heard about it.
We're going to have strong, incredible borders, and people are going to come into our country, but they're going to come into our country legally. They're going to come in legally. We're going to build a wall. It's going to be built. It's not even, believe it or not, it's not even a difficult thing to do. And by the way, for the people of New Hampshire, where you have a tremendous problem with heroin and drugs, you wouldn't even believe it. You see this place and you say it's so beautiful. You have a tremendous problem. The first thing always that they mention to me, Mr. Trump, please do something. The drugs, the heroin, it's pouring in, and it's so cheap because there's so much of it. And the kids are getting stuck, and other people are getting stuck. We're going to end it. We're going to end it. We're going to end it at the southern border. It's going to be over. And we're going to work, and we're going to work really hard to get those people that are so addicted off the habit. We're going to work like hell to take care of the situation.
He promised to increase the safety in America and prevent crimes due to the undocumented immigrants through this initiative.
It's a huge problem in New Hampshire. It's a huge problem all over our country. We're going to have borders again, and we're going to work with you people to help you solve that very big problem, and we'll get it done.
Then came years of funding battles, shutdowns, lawsuits, and delays. Biden paused the project in 2021.
This is a law that we are complying with. We have asked Congress multiple times to reappropriate this. This is not the way that we believe is going to be effective here. We believe in modernizing the system, not actually building a wall. The president said himself he does not think this is effective, and so we're complying by law. And we believe that in the rule of law here, and we're moving forward and getting that, in following the law.
There will not be another foot of wall constructed in my administration. How can you say that he's not breaking that promise?
Well, what I can say is that there's a law that the DHS is complying with. We believe in the rule of law, and that's what we're moving forward to with.
But by 2023, construction quietly picked back up in high-traffic areas. Biden strictly paused the border wall construction, but later he allowed the construction to resume.
When money was appropriated for the border wall, I tried to get them to reappropriate, to redirect that money. They didn't, they wouldn't. And in the meantime, there's nothing under the law other than they have to use the money for what was appropriate. I can't stop that.
Do you believe the border wall works?
No.
So what's the update now? How far along are we done with this project? Here's the current count. About 66 miles of border wall are now complete in Texas, up from just 57 back in February. Construction is ongoing at 15 sites across key counties, with more land rights secured to push the project forward.
The Trump administration is building up the southern border wall once again as crossings drop to just over 7,000 for the entire month of March. That is the lowest number ever recorded. William Lajeunesse is live at one of the construction sites in San Diego with more. Hello, William.
Hey, Shannon, remember President Biden stopped on day one all wall construction, leaving holes in the fence, including this one. This is Smuggler's Gulch in San Diego. President Trump picking up where he left off. He's closing that area. He's also closing two other areas east of here where the wall ended and migrants simply snuck across in Otay Mesa. Another in Jacumba. That's an area you may recognize where thousands of mostly Chinese migrants crossed. And this is where agents hope several miles of new fence will help them gain operational control.
Within the new Trump administration, news channels reported a low number of illegal border crossings within a few months. A Border Patrol chief in San Diego shared on national television how they have increased the pace of the construction to make a positive impact.
Operational control is what we're trying to achieve. We're trying to detect anyone and everything coming across the border illegally and to have 100% situational awareness of what's going on in our area of responsibility.
Trump added 458 miles of wall. By the end of this year, he hopes to add 85 more with projects in San Diego, Yuma, Tucson, El Paso, and the Rio Grande Valley. But that is not all. Over the next 4 years, he plans to add 700 more miles of fence and close to 1,000 miles of buoys, virtually sealing off the entire border with double fencing, access roads, lights, cameras, sensors, buoys, almost the entire length of the Rio Grande River.
The construction of the wall won't just stop after completing the work in the 4 states that join with Mexico. They hope to extend this border wall even more with high-tech security around it.
So basically, Shannon, what he hopes to achieve is what you have here. Primary fence, a road, and a secondary fence. We'll send it back to you.
All right, William Lajeunesse, thank you so much.
Let's take an inside look at the construction. Meanwhile, federal officials recently issued waivers to speed up construction by bypassing environmental and permit-related delays, which opens the way for dozens of new miles of wall in Arizona and New Mexico. Additional segments have also been approved under new contracts.
The Border Watch now. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem has issued 3 new waivers to expedite border wall construction here in Arizona and also in New Mexico. Of the 36 miles of new border wall, over 26 miles will be used to build the wall across the Tucson sector. According to CBP, the Secretary's waiver authority allows DHS to waive environmental laws, including the National Environmental Policy Act. CBP says together, these projects will close critical gaps in the border wall and enhance border security operations in the U.S. Border Patrol's El Paso, Tucson, and Yuma sectors. KGUN 9's Andrew Christensen will have more on this story coming up on KGUN 9 News at 10.
But in a surprise move, Texas recently defunded new wall segments. The state will stop allocating taxpayer dollars for barrier construction, redirecting $3.4 billion toward National Guard deployments and patrols instead.
Texas lawmakers quietly stopped funding the state construction of a border wall between the U.S. and Mexico just 4 years after Governor Greg Abbott signed off on the project. In this year's budget, lawmakers approved $3.4 billion for border security. But Republican State Senator Joan Huffman, the state's lead budget writer, confirmed to the Texas Tribune that none of the money will go toward the wall. During President Trump's first term, the administration completed just 21 miles of the project in Texas and only 452 miles of the U.S. Mexico border, the majority of which was replacing existing structures at the border across the 2,000-mile southern border. President Trump has since signaled deporting undocumented immigrants as a higher priority in his second term over building the physical wall. Most of Texas land along the Rio Grande is privately owned, and state lawmakers previously banned the use of eminent domain for wall construction. As a result, the state's construction efforts have been hindered in part due to landowners on the border who have refused to let the state build a wall on their property.
Beyond the political debate, the border wall is having real effects on local communities and the environment. There are raising concerns about property rights. Conservation groups have raised alarms over the impact on local ecosystems, with a sharp decline in wildlife movement.
It's some of the border wall that was built during Trump's first term. Back then, it cost about $30 million for each mile built. Some of that was due because of how remote some of these areas were. Now, the new Santa Cruz County project could be facing some of those same challenges. The 27-mile stretch of new border wall is planned for a remote part of the Tucson Border Patrol sector, cutting through the San Rafael Valley, a diverse region known for its grasslands and wildlife.
The Department of Homeland Security really is racing to build a border wall through what is one of the last best wild and unwalled places left in the Arizona borderlands.
Critics aren't just raising concerns about the $309 million price tag. They're also questioning Fisher Sand and Gravel, the company behind the project. They've worked on previous border wall projects.
They're a company with a long record of environmental and regulatory violations.
So there you have it. Real wall miles in the ground, but with funding shifts, political walls remain unbreachable. What do you think? Is the wall worth it? Or should money go to other border solutions? Drop your thoughts below, hit like and subscribe.